I just recently got an offer from another service provider, and their example PBN was like nearly zero traffic, 11 URLs. All URLs had different trash topics like buy PBN, buy iPhone. Okay, so let's go to SEO agency, life insurance, something about toothpaste. DR 18, which is okay, I guess, but most links are from French websites, also some trash links, not niche relevant. Okay. Um, yeah, so it kind of is going to depend. Each service provider is obviously going to be very different. A decent amount of PBNs are like kind of more general than others, but some are, more niche down than others. Kind of just depends on the provider as well. I wouldn't say that just because the PBN isn't super niche relevant that it's bad, but you kind of also don't want it to be like just kind of like a bunch of low quality, kind of like spammy type content, which it seems kind of like you're talking about. It's also pretty normal for a lot of PBNs not to have any traffic. Um, you know, like a step up from a PBN would be something like a guest post farm. So I'm not going to say regular guest post yet, but guest post farm. So guest post farm is essentially a PBN that they are putting more effort into, right? So they're actually maybe building more backlinks to it or getting it to trying to get it to rank for some stuff. But it's essentially still a PBN, just more effort into it. And you definitely pay for that difference. Where a guest post farm, maybe you pay 50 or $100 or something like that. Maybe for the PBN, you generally are not paying anywhere close to that. That's not even really talking about like where the link location, like homepage or whatever. But for PBNs, it is pretty normal for them not to have much traffic. If traffic's something that you're really worried about, you could go the route of low quality guest posts or just even just normal good links, regular guest posts, regular niche edits, link insertions. But they definitely come with a bit of a price difference. But it's two different things, and as I'm sure Nick is about to explain to you, traffic isn't really something that you look for on PBN. It's a completely different tool. It's a completely different thing, and you have to kind of evaluate them in a completely different way. So yeah, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, in relation to the traffic thing, I mean, if it's only got 11 indexed pages, then it's probably a relatively new PBN too. A lot of times you'll come to find that the older the PBN is, the more it's going to operate like a guest post farm, because it's just accrued so much more information, et cetera, right? And then it looks like an active site, so long as the content is of decent quality and it's not linking out to a bunch of spammy, kind of sites, making things look fairly natural. Now, on relation to it being very general, that's not a huge issue. However, I'd want to look for, well, what kind of clientele do they have? So if I'm seeing a bunch of stuff that's typically associated with spam, like buy PBN links on a PBN or buy iPhone case, which is always spammed out, things like that. Um, I just want to keep it to a minimum. If you see an article here and there about it, but here, I guess, we're talking about again, a site with 11 indexed URLs in Google. So, kind of early to say how this project's going to turn out as far as the PBN goes, right? Like what type of clientele are they going to put on there? But in relation to insulating yourself, look at the outbound links to authority sites. If they're mixing in a good amount of stuff, from good authority sites that are pretty general, informative, then that can insulate you and it can be fine too. DR18 is pretty good, depending on what you paid for it. But overall, I can't say whether this link would be good or bad for you. If you can get it cheap enough, if your money site is already insulated well enough, like let's say you've already got 200 referring domains from quality sites, and now you want to just, you can pick this up for $5 and you're like, well, should I do it? Whenever there's a big question about the quality, if you can get it cheap enough, etc. So long as it's indexed, you can get that link for really cheap. Just if you're really worried about it and you're well insulated, then go ahead and do a natural anchor to the homepage. and you don't have to worry about it so much. But I'd say, I can't tell you too much more other than that. But sometimes if you're early to a PBN, you're one of those first articles in there, then over time, as that PBN grows, if they're doing everything properly, um, then it can end up being a better link as that site starts to look more natural to Google. Yeah, that's about it.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the links below for more info on this topic, as well as other cool stuff like SEO case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and happy ranking.